In the quiet, unassuming town of Harrow's End, nestled deep within the Appalachian Mountains, a house on Blackwood Lane has become the focal point of a chilling investigation that has both locals and authorities baffled. The Thornwood House, as it is known, has long been the subject of local legend and folklore, but recent events have cast a sinister light on this decaying relic of a bygone era. What follows is an in-depth account of the mysterious occurrences surrounding Thornwood House, compiled from interviews, police reports, and eyewitness testimonies. Thornwood House was built in 1886 by Jonathan Thornwood, a wealthy industrialist who sought to escape the chaos of city life. He moved into the mansion with his wife, Eliza, and their two children, Thomas and Mary. The Thornwood family was known for their reclusiveness, rarely interacting with the townsfolk. Local records indicate that Jonathan's business ventures began to falter shortly after moving into the house, and his behavior grew increasingly erratic. By 1902, the entire Thornwood family had vanished without a trace. The house was abandoned and left to decay. Over the decades, numerous attempts to sell the property failed, with prospective buyers often reporting strange occurrences and a pervasive feeling of unease. The house gained a reputation as cursed, and it was left to rot on the outskirts of Harrow's End, shrouded in mystery and overgrown with wild ivy. The latest chapter in the Thornwood House saga began on October 10, 2023, when Adam Gray, a 24-year-old college student from nearby Asheville, set out to investigate the house. Gray, a history major with a keen interest in local legends, had been drawn to Thornwood House by its infamous reputation and saw it as an ideal subject for his thesis on historical mysteries. Armed with a camera, a flashlight, and a journal, Gray entered the house late in the evening, intending to document his findings. Gray's last known communication was a text message sent to his roommate, Mark Watson, at 9:43 p.m., which read, "Just got inside. This place is beyond creepy. Wish me luck." When Gray failed to return the following day, Watson reported him missing to the local authorities. The Harrow's End Police Department, led by Sheriff Rebecca Thompson, launched a search for Adam Gray on October 12th. Initial efforts focused on canvassing the town and surrounding woods, but it soon became evident that Gray's trail led directly to Thornwood House. Reluctantly, Sheriff Thompson and her team approached the notorious property. "I've lived in this town my whole life, and I've heard the stories about Thornwood House," Sheriff Thompson told our reporter. "But we had a job to do. We couldn't let fear of old legends stop us from finding Adam." The search team entered the house, their flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness. According to Sheriff Thompson, the interior was in a state of severe disrepair. The floors were covered in dust and debris, and the air was thick with a musty odor. Despite the unsettling atmosphere, the team conducted a thorough search of the ground floor, finding no sign of Gray. It wasn't until they descended into the basement that they made a chilling discovery. The basement door, which had been ajar when Gray entered, was now tightly shut. Forcing it open, the team was met with an icy draft and a sense of foreboding that made even the most skeptical officers uneasy. In the center of the basement, they found Gray's camera and journal, lying next to a shattered wooden box. The camera's memory card was intact, and the journal contained detailed notes of Gray's observations. The final entry, written in a hurried scrawl, read, "I can hear whispers. There's something down here with me. If anyone finds this, I'm sorry." Sheriff Thompson's team also discovered markings on the basement walls that appeared to be claw marks, leading many to speculate about the nature of Gray's disappearance. The search team conducted a grid search of the basement and the surrounding area, but found no further evidence of Gray. The contents of Gray's camera provided the most disturbing evidence. The footage, reviewed by both the police and forensic experts, showed Gray exploring the house methodically, narrating his findings. The final minutes of the recording, however, were the most harrowing. In the video, Gray approaches the basement door and opens it. As he descends the stairs, the audio captures faint whispering, though the source remains unclear. Gray reaches the basement floor and pans the camera around, illuminating the wooden box in the center. As he examines the box, the whispering grows louder, and the footage shows Gray's increasing agitation. Suddenly, the camera shakes violently, and Gray can be heard gasping in terror. The last few frames show a shadowy figure emerging from the darkness before the screen goes black. The disappearance of Adam Gray has left the town of Harrow's End in a state of shock. For many residents, the incident has rekindled old fears about Thornwood House. Local historian Margaret Whitaker, who has spent years researching the house's history, believes the property is cursed. There have been countless stories of people experiencing strange phenomena around Thornwood House, Whitaker said. But this is the first time someone has vanished without a trace. It's as if the house itself swallowed him whole. Others in the town are more skeptical, attributing the eerie occurrences to natural causes and the power of suggestion. "It's easy to let your imagination run wild in a place like that," said Dr. Samuel Perkins, a psychologist at the nearby Harrow's End clinic. Adam's fear and the atmosphere of the house likely played a significant role in what happened. To gain further insight into the phenomena at Thornwood House, we consulted with several experts in the fields of paranormal investigation and psychology. Dr. Evelyn Rhodes, a renowned parapsychologist, reviewed the footage and Gray's notes. "The evidence suggests a strong presence of residual energy in the house," Dr. Rhodes explained. "The whispers and shadowy figure could be manifestations of the spirits tied to the property. It's possible that Adam's presence and his investigation triggered a reaction from these entities." Conversely, Dr. Michael Bennett, a skeptic and professor of psychology, offered a different perspective. "The power of suggestion is incredibly strong, especially in a setting with a known history of hauntings," Dr. Bennett said. "Adam may have been influenced by the stories he heard, leading to heightened fear and hallucinations. The camera footage could be interpreted in many ways, and without more concrete evidence, it's hard to draw definitive conclusions." The Harrow's End Police Department has not closed the case on Adam Gray's disappearance. Sheriff Thompson has vowed to continue searching for answers, despite the challenges posed by the house's reputation. "We're not giving up," Sheriff Thompson stated firmly. "We owe it to Adam and his family to find out what happened. We're exploring every possible lead and working with experts to uncover the truth." In the meantime, Thornwood House has been cordoned off and access is strictly prohibited. The local government is considering options for securing the property permanently, including potential demolition. However, many residents believe that the house should be left undisturbed, fearing that any further interference could exacerbate the situation.